Good evening, everyone. It's Carolee Ann Prado. And before we get started, I wanted to note a couple things. So, in all my years, not that old, but in all the years that I've been in history class, read his famous speeches, I've heard his famous speeches, I will have to say that no speech has ever been as impacting as Frank Carlson's "Wanted a Man who will stand." He speaks of the world's truth. He spoke in 1968, was what still holds true in 2017, that the world is straying from the truth, and that we're in need of men who will not stray from the truth, who will stay firm in what they believe and not back down. The following was given by Mr. Frank Carlson, who was the senator for the state of Kansas, at the Senate Breakfast Group on June 19, 1968. The Senate Breakfast Group meets every Wednesday morning to pray together and to ponder the issues of our spiritual heritage. We have had men in both ancient and modern history who have had the courage to take a stand and stand by it. In Ezekiel 22:30, the prophet says, "And I sought for a man who would build up the wall and stand in the breach before the land, that I should not destroy it." God is searching for men who are unique, thoroughly saved, and filled to running over with His Spirit. God and the world need men who will stand in the gap. Modern Americans have accepted and are tolerating conditions never before permitted by any generation of our ancestors. Never have public officials been so brazen and open in seeking the vote of the people through promises of things that are morally and spiritually wrong. Never have ministers of the gospel turned their pulpits and their pastoral duties toward the direction of the social order, to the near exclusion of the salvational order as abounds in our time. Not only have the vast members of Americans lost all sense of sacred, the moral, and the ethical, but the spiritual leaders from both the laity and the priesthood are often found in the forefront of this irreligious pursuit of comfort rather than conviction, of accommodation rather than truth. Today, there is a widespread devotion to the idea that nothing, absolutely nothing, can be allowed to remain the same. All things must change, and there is practically no consideration given as to whether the change is good or bad, right or wrong, easy or difficult, necessary or unnecessary. But irresponsible, erratic, violent change, only for the sake of making things different, is as illogical and as unreasonable as it is unspiritual. Great changes had to take place during these recent years, and even greater changes will have to take place in the future. But no safe and proper change seen in recent times, and certainly none of irrational changes that outnumber the same ones, can justify the wholesale abandonment of safe and sure principles of God and this country, which have brought us safely this far. In the face of great changes, we Christians have to remember that we have a firm point of view and that we operate from certain unchanging foundations. We believe in a God who does not change, in human nature which does not change except for its accommodation with and acceptance of God, in standards of right and wrong that do not change, in death and judgment which are inescapable. And we believe in a truth that is not absolute, not relative, and which is forever settled in heaven and can never pass away. Today, man is taught not to accept anything until it has been proven to you with mathematical terms, exactness, and material demonstration. That is the agony of the hour, when the doctrine of criticism has taken over our people. You cannot pick up a paper, a magazine, or a book that is not in and of itself critical of something or somebody, even including among its victims Almighty God itself. In truth, the criticism of God Himself ranked well above other criticisms of the hour. More people, in more ways and on more occasions, cast doubt, hurl darts, and throw charges against God such as this country has never seen in all its history. To accept the doctrine of universal criticism leaves us with almost nothing that is sacred, almost nothing that is absolute, and nothing that is eternal. These doctrines have left our nation without moorings or anchors. We are being tossed about in the sea of doubt and uncertainty that is about to sink the ship of God before our very eyes. The world today is looking for men who are not for sale, men who are honest, sound from center to circumference, true to the heart's core, men who will stand for the right if the heavens totter and the earth reels, men who can have courage without shouting it, men who can tell the truth and look the world right in the eye. God is looking for men. He wants those who have come to the kingdom for such a time as this. God, give us men. Thank you very much for lending a listening ear, and you guys have a great day.